Everyone knows what they are doing in Iraq and Iran, interfering everywhere all the time. I don't like it.
When Russia gave political asylum to the US whistleblower Edward Snowden in July, President Obama cancelled his planned trip to Moscow, and his famous attempt to reset relations with Vladimir Putin was over.
Putin started his presidency as one of the most pro-Western leaders Russia ever had. His experience was terribly disappointing to him. And he, rightly or wrongly, came to conclusion by mid-2000s that with those guys, that's just impossible to deal, because they don't stick to promises, they do what they want, and they use force whenever they want.
Even 4 years ago, when the two leaders met in Moscow, it was an uncomfortable morning. Then came Libya, Syria, and political trouble for President Putin at home, which he blamed on America. US-Russian relations are stuck in a trough and will stay there for the next few years. Daniel Sanford, BBC News, Moscow.
Alright, just to add, this is the book of Ecclesiasticus 12 and 13. It says, "Woe, who will pity a charmer that is bitten with a serpent, or any such as come nigh wild beast? So one that goeth to a sinner and is defiled with him is his sin, defiled with him in his sin. Who will pity? For a while he will abide with thee, but if thou begin to fall, he will not tarry." Let me jump up to 10 real quick. It says, "Never trust thy enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness." That's what Putin, he said Putin was the most pro-United States president ever, until he started dealing with them, and he's seen that these people are snakes. I mean, Putin's an Edomite too. Okay, so a snake went to try to charm a snake, and the snake got bit, man. Okay, that's pretty much the thing that's happening. It says, read that again, "Never trust thy enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness." Alright, play this last video, and we'll end it on this.
So just hours before the president landed, President Putin slammed U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry over his testimony on the civil war in Syria. The Russian strongman calling Kerry a liar. Watch this.
I've watched debates in Congress. The congressman asks Mr. Kerry, "Is there Al-Qaeda? People say they've gotten stronger." He says, "No." I say officially, "They aren't there." The main combat unit, the so-called Al-Nusra, is a unit of Al-Qaeda. They know about this. It's not pleasant for me to see this. Well, we communicate with them and assume that they are decent people. He lies openly, and he knows that he lies. This is sad.
Wow. Chief White House correspondent Ed Henry, North Lawn there, starts our coverage. Good morning to you. You wonder how comfortable or not it will be for the president today. Is the White House reacting to Putin's accusation that we just heard there?
They are. What Putin is trying to do is suggest, raise doubts about whether the Assad regime, which he's close to, really was behind that awful chemical weapons attack on August 21st, and he's raising doubts about Al-Qaeda elements in the rebel groups, and maybe the rebels actually would be behind that chemical weapons attack. The White House is responding this morning by saying, look, they believe there are moderate elements of the Syrian rebels, the Syrian Free Army, etc., and they think Putin is just flat out wrong here. So you're right, it's going to get awkward. Think back to June. President's already arrived there in Russia now. He's going to meet him on the sidelines, Putin. Back in June, when at the G8 summit in Europe, bottom line is Putin spent more time looking at his shoes than at President Obama, it seemed, from some of the photos at least, in the body language. They're fighting not just about Syria, about the Edward Snowden controversy, and all of this is playing out as the president's on the world stage, and you have Republicans like the former Defense Secretary Donald Rumsfeld charging that with the president yesterday at this news conference in Sweden saying it wasn't his red line, it's not his credibility on the line, that he now looks weak. Take a listen.
This president has tried to find a way to blame everybody or anybody for everything. And leadership requires that you stand up, take a position, provide clarity, and take responsibility. And I can't imagine him saying that he didn't draw the red line. But he did draw the red line.
Now, for his part, the president said at the news conference yesterday he's still hopeful to make some progress with Putin, but obviously a lot of questions about that so-called reset in Russian relations that have not exactly worked out the way the White House wanted to.
So many years later, too, after that happened. Ed, now the president's dealing with revelations, the NSA program in Russia as well.
All right, let me read these verses, and then we'll end it. We know they're damn devils. We know they're liars, and the Most High is lifting their skirt up so the world can see it. All right, so they can go ahead and shoot these missiles over here and get this thing over with. Get Babylon out the way. This is the book of Psalms. We'll go to Psalm 7 and 14. Book of Psalm 7. This is the book of Psalms 7 and 14, and it says, "Behold, he travaileth with iniquity, and have conceived mischief, and brought forth falsehoods." What's that falsehood? Lying about the Syrian government. Okay, mischief of trying to take over the world, of trying to chip up everybody, man. Well, the things go on and on. It says, he made a pit and diggeth it, and is fallen into the ditch which he made. He made all this. All this Third World War, when it results in them getting shot missiles on, is their own working. They're lying and trying to go into Syria right now. That's going to be their downfall. It says, his mischief shall return upon his own head. His violence dealing shall come down upon his own plate. I will praise the Lord according to his righteousness, and will sing praises to his name, Nate, of the Lord, his name of the Lord Most High. Alright, let's jump to Psalms 36 and 4. It's the book of Psalms 36, verse 4. And it says, he deviseth mischief upon his bed, he sitteth himself in the way that is not good. He abhorreth not evil. Thy mercy, O Lord, is in the heavens, and thy faithfulness reacheth unto the clouds. So Esau is not one, he dwells in evilness, man. Taking land that's not yours, bombing people, constantly having wars. That blessing is your downfall, man. Okay? Psalms 52 and 2. This is Psalms 52 verse 2, and it says, thy tongue deceiveth mischief like a sharp razor, working deceitfully. Thou lovest evil more than good, and lying rather than to speak righteousness. Lying is the lying of this situation. If you got proof, bring it out to the world before you attack somebody. Let the world see the proof so we can know. Even if it's your spy satellite, whatever you got set up, let the people know before you go and decide to kill more people. Alright, and it says, thou lovest evil more than good, and lying rather than to speak righteousness. Thou lovest all devouring words, and thou deceitful tongue. The Most High shall likewise destroy thee forever. He shall take thee away, and pluck thee out of thy dwelling place, and root thee out of thy land of the living. Salah. Alright, so with that, I'm going to say all praise to Yahweh, Ba'ashim, Yahweh Shai, double honor stales, and GMS. Much love to you brothers on the four corners of the planet. I'm going to say shalom.